Welcome to CoatZone. What we're going to do today is share with you information regarding our company and regarding our products. I'm going to share my screen. So, some information regarding CoatZone. First of all, our products have been around for over 17 years. We have a coating center, which is where our headquarters is in Houston, Texas. And during that 17-year period, we've treated well over 250,000, in fact, closer to 300,000 units. Between myself and Russell McNeese, our CTO, who runs our coating center, we have over 50 years experience in HVAC and energy. All of our products are made in the USA and have all gone through extensive independent testing, ISO, ASTM, and UL testing. We currently do work for most of the major corporations in the US, whether that be hotels, hospitals, US military, government buildings. We do a tremendous amount of work. We also work directly with all the major manufacturers, Carrier, Trane, Daikin, York, Lennox, etc. We have basically three products we're going to be talking about. The first product is called CoilSafe. It is a two-part product. We mix it for 45 minutes to create the right reaction. And once we have it mixed, we then put it into a dual gauge pressure pot. This is what you need if we're actually going to spray a coil of an air conditioning unit. And the coil of an air conditioning unit is the key component for heat transfer and efficiency of that unit. If we're only treating a solid surface, then we can use like a sponge brush to apply the product to protect against corrosion. The reason we use the dual gauge pressure pot is so we will atomize the product so it'll come out like a fog-like droplet. If you're trying to spray a coil 4 or 5 rows thick, a wet spray will never get through. So we atomize it, as you can see in this slide, where it comes out like a fog-like droplet on the far side. So we're spraying from the outside in and the inside out. And that way we're able to encapsulate everything. And as you'll see, we don't ever remove the coil. We simply remove enough panels, and in this case, the fan, in order to be able to get at the coil, which again, the manufacturers like because we never break the refrigerant line. We never break any solder joints. We ensure that the integrity of the unit remains intact. So why is CoilSafe different? There are many different coatings that are out there for coils. Well, first of all, our product adheres via a covalent bond. What that means is it shares an electron, it becomes part of the metal. Most coatings are either epoxy or polyurethane, which means they are essentially a paint. Once they chip or peel, corrosion will run underneath. That will not happen with our product because of the covalent bond. If you want to remove that coating, you have to aggressively sand it off. Even a blowtorch will not take it off. Secondly, our product goes on at only 8 microns. Most coatings go on at 50 to 100 microns. Why is that important? Well, as I said, the key to a coil is heat transfer. As soon as you put that thick of a coating on a coil, you're reducing the heat transfer. Therefore, you're lowering the efficiency of that unit by anywhere from 5 to 7%. Next, our product, because it's a spray-on, we can treat new units, but we can also treat existing units already installed in the field. Most other coatings are basically a dip and bake. What that means is you remove the coil, you dip it in a vat, you bake it in an oven. So you can really only treat a brand new unit. You can't do that in the field. Also, when we coat the coil, we don't just coat the coil. We coat the exposed copper, the flywheel, the headers, even the fan blade we can coat with our product. So what we're doing is protecting all of the unit from corrosion, not just the coil itself. Our product is also antimicrobial, which is very important, especially in climates where you have high humidity. where you get all the nasty stuff growing, the bacteria, mold, etc. Nothing is going to grow with our coil safe product. And that's very, very important in a number of areas in the US, because where you have cycling from cooling to heating, you very often will have bacteria that will die, and this creates a thing called dirty sock syndrome, a very, very nasty smell. So it smells like old gym socks. So those coils always have to be replaced under warranty by the company. With our product, you will never, ever get dirty sock syndrome. In fact, most of the manufacturers now come to us whenever they have those warranty claims in order to eliminate that problem going forward. We will actually coat their coils. The same thing happens now with foam insulation, where homes are using foam insulation. They're getting warranty claims within a year. The reason is that foam insulation off gases, and it is very, very, very corrosive. We are now treating many, many coils that are being put into uh, homes that have foam insulation. With our product, we also give a 10-year warranty. Most coatings are 3 to 5 years. And if you're dealing with a medical facility, for example, by code, they all have to use UVC. Any other coating under long-term exposure to UVC will break down and go soft. Our product has been tested against UVC with zero effect. People often ask, will our products work in a harsh environment? We have done wastewater plants, we've done swimming pools. And here's an example of an offshore rig, but which is about as brutal as you're going to get in terms of resisting corrosion. This was for Daikin. This was an offshore rig off the Mississippi. The hurricane had taken everything out. They had to install the units right away. Our team went there, spent 3 days on that rig. This was during COVID. Coated not only the coil, but the cabinet, basically everything in that unit. That was 6 years ago. Those units are still working. There is no other coating out there that is more effective in terms of resisting corrosion and protecting a coil than our coil safe product. Here's another great example. This is Kroger grocery store. They have a store in Galveston Bay that literally overlooks the bay, right across the road from the bay. They installed 6 refrigeration condenser units on their roof. 5 of them we coated, 1 they forgot to get coated. After only 3 years of oceanfront exposure, this is the untreated coil, as you can see, destroyed, had to be replaced. We actually coated it for free as goodwill for Kroger. Sitting right next to it is our coated coil, and as you will see, other than some bird feathers, there is zero corrosion on that coil. This is something else that we do. We actually did this for Daikin. They were having an issue with circuit boards rusting out, came to us and said, can we treat the circuit boards? So now we actually coat circuit boards with the same product, because when coil safe cures, it has the same properties as glass. It will not conduct electricity. So what we do is we cover up the connector points. We actually use Play-Doh. My partner Russell decided Play-Doh was an easy thing to use and readily available. So we seal up the connector points with Play-Doh. We then coat the unit, the PCB, and then we let it cure. Once it cures, we remove the Play-Doh, and you have a board which is totally protected against corrosion, insect intrusion. Where I live in Hawaii, we have the little geckos, and they will short out the boards. This protects the board from corrosion and that type of situation. So in terms of the product itself, there is a good profit margin to be had. Obviously, you can buy as little as 1 bottle as an affiliate, or if you have contractors who want to come on board, they can come on board as an authorized, where they can treat their own units for their own customers, or preferred, who can not only do that, but can then work with you in terms of your customers. So there's a very good profit margin to be had with our coil safe product. The applications are really endless. Any metal surface you want to protect, there is nothing better than using coil safe to protect that surface. During COVID, a lot of the hospitals that we deal with, we deal a lot with military hospitals, especially. They came to us and said, look, we love your product. We've been using it for years. Could you enhance it to where instead of preventing the growth, it would actually attack and kill the virus? So Russell, my CTO, worked with our chemist. We added a silver ion nanoparticle and created what we call Coil Safe Plus. We sent this out for ISO testing. We had a 99.5% kill rate on bacteria, 99.8% kill rate against live COVID SARS-2. So this product we now use for the indoor coil, the evaporator coil of all the hospitals, military buildings, government buildings, schools, to ensure that the coil is protected totally. Anything that will land on that coil will be killed. So we protect the coil and protect the surface of that coil. We were also using it during COVID for the likes of handles of doors, grab rails, elevator panels, any surface you wanted to protect. Because normally people will put the likes of Lysol or something on that surface, which will protect it until you touch it. But once you touch it, the effectiveness is gone. This is a long-term protection for that surface with an active kill rate. The half-life of the silver ion is 20 years. So as long as that product is on the surface, you're protecting the surface from microbial contamination. So huge application in terms of ensuring that surfaces remain clean and protected. This product is slightly more expensive, but not much more than the coil safe. And as you can see again, there's a very good profit margin to be had. Our third product is called ThermoBlock, and it's a totally different product. Comes in a 5-gallon bucket. You can brush it, roll it, or spray it. You open the bucket, you stir it like any other paint, and you can brush it, roll it, or spray it. So what is ThermoBlock? Well, it is basically a radiant thermal barrier. What does that mean? Well, most people are familiar with insulation. Insulation has an R value, which means it will resist heat to a certain point. The higher the R value, the longer it will resist. But eventually, it will let heat pass through. Our product rejects heat at point of contact. It will not let heat load onto a surface. But we had to prove that because it's not easy to get an R value for a coating. So we went to the biggest lab in the world, Intertech Labs, and we said, what's the test that we need to do? They said it's called a solar heat gain coefficient test. So we prepared our samples. We sent it off to their solar lab in Fresno, California. They did all their testing and they verify we reject 93% of solar heat gain. So people often ask, well, how about a white paint? Will it not do the same thing? A white paint will reflect the visible light, but what we're talking about is the invisible light, which is the majority of the heat load on any surface. That's what we reject. Yes, it's white, so it's good for reflecting, but more importantly, it rejects that IR. So we're going to look at a number of applications. The first one I want you to see is the picture that's here. This was actually in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We worked there with Johnson Controls. We happened to be their official coating for their coils in their York factory in Jeddah for our coil safe product. So they said, look, before we'll even test your product, you come onto our building and show that this thing actually works. So this was a day whenever literally you could not touch that cabinet of that unit or the ductwork. It was really hot. We went there, we coated the coil here of this package unit. We coated the cabinet and we coated the actual ductwork. Afterwards, you could come lay your hand on that because it actually felt cool. They put a monitor on this unit prior to us coating it and post our coating. And according to their measurements, and this was Johnson Controls, one of the biggest energy companies in the world, we had a 12.7% energy savings. Had they kept the unit on longer, it was only for 24 hours afterwards, it would have actually increased as the product cured. So in terms of heat rejection, there is no other product out there that even comes close. So let's have a look at a few examples. This was a roof in the Philippines, which is where I'm talking to you from right now. And this roof, the day we did this, the temperature outside was about 32 C, but the roof was registering at 67 C. That was hot. We coated it. 15 minutes later, we dropped that temperature to 49 C, almost a 20 C reduction. And here's a picture of the engineer on his bare feet on that metal roof. This was for a company called Rome Industries that wanted to test our product. So whenever you have a low-rise building, about 40% of the heat load is coming from that roof. If you can remove 93% of that imposed thermal load, you're going to dramatically reduce the energy required inside to cool that building. Even in a non-conditioned building, we use it to make the working environment more tolerable. So huge application in terms of roofs. We do all types of roofs other than maybe asphalt shingle. We normally would not be coating an asphalt shingle roof, but any other type of roof, we have done coating on. So a huge application for our product is ductwork. Everywhere in the world we go, we see this field insulation on ductwork. Doesn't matter what type of insulation it is, over time, with moisture content, it's going to break down and fail. This was a hospital in San Antonio, Texas, 5,000 lineal feet of ductwork. They were losing 14 F from the unit to the building, almost half their cooling. We stripped off all the field insulation and sealed any leaks, dealt with any corrosion in any area. And all we did was simply coat it with our thermal block. No insulation required. We dropped that delta T loss from 14 to 3, gave them almost half their cooling back. And the key here is we're not only creating a great thermal barrier, we're also creating a vapor barrier to protect that surface. We give a 10-year warranty on this product. So again, it's a long-lasting, durable solution. Whenever we first went to Saudi Arabia, we actually met with a manufacturer of ductwork there. They thought we were crazy. So they had a run of ductwork with fiberglass and aluminum cladding, which is about as good a insulation as you're going to get. They had a run beside it where they actually put on our thermal block to test it. We were 16% more efficient and we were about 40% of the price. So as an alternative for insulation on ductwork, this is a lot superior in terms of the results, but also a lot more cost effective for the company. Again, there's a huge profit margin to be had with thermal block, and the applications are pretty much endless. We just did a job here in the Philippines for the Philippine Army, where they have these large trucks. They're not conditioned. We coated the cab of one of the trucks, and we lowered the temperature by 20 C to make it more tolerable for people driving and being carried inside those trucks. We've done many, many, many other applications where we're looking at protecting a surface. For example, we were doing a job here where there were electronics housed inside metal boxes that were exposed to solar gain. Any electronics will function up to about 35 C. Once you go over that, you're damaging the electronics. Every 10 degrees over 35, you're depleting the life by about 50%. So many, many, many applications for our thermal block product. We had a customer who had an RV, and in the summer he was having difficulty having his AC keep up to keep the RV cool. He coated the roof of the RV, and suddenly he had no issue at all. In fact, sometimes he didn't even need to use the AC. So again, massive potential for this product. So why do people love our product? First of all, it reduces energy consumption by 10 to 25%. In some cases, we have seen as high as 45%. It is the most effective solution to prevent corrosion. If you have any metal surface, our coil safe will prevent corrosion, will help reduce the effectiveness of corrosion on that surface. Even our thermal block, whenever you apply it, because it's going on at 150 microns, it will also not only prevent the thermal gain and also give you a vapor barrier, but will also protect against corrosion. The CoilSafe product prevents microbial contamination, and the thermal block, whenever we apply it to chilled water or steam pipes, as long as those pipes actually have insulation on them, quite often what you'll find is you will still get condensation because of the extreme difference in temperature. Whenever you coat over that insulation with our thermal block, you will eliminate that condensation. It is the most effective and less expensive than insulation. As we said earlier, insulation resists heat, we reject it. It lowers the cost when applied to roofs and extends the life of the roof. As we said earlier, 40% of the heat load on a building, on a low-rise building, comes from the roof. If you coat it with our thermal block, you do one of two things. Either you'll lower the energy requirement inside for cooling, or you'll lower the cooling requirement where you don't have to use as large of a unit. It will also extend the life of the roof, because what happens with any type of roof, the deterioration normally comes from expansion and contraction. So using the example earlier of that roof at 67, at night in the Philippines, it might drop to 27. So you're going from 67 to 27, back to 67. That expansion and contraction wearing on the seams and the joints is what causes the leaks in a roof. It is cost effective and a one-time solution, and all of our products come with a 10-year warranty. So why do people want to become a dealer with CoatZone? Because you, as a person involved in the common stead, you can use the product yourself, but you can also bring on dealers. You can find a customer, and then through the common stead, it's very easy to find a dealer who can actually apply the product for you. But why would a dealer be interested? First of all, these products set them apart from the competition. Whenever you're in the HVAC business, especially, it's highly competitive. If you can come with a coating that will reduce the energy consumption for that customer, you are in a very good competitive position. It reduces warranty claims for manufacturers. They're all concerned about warranty. Using our product will help protect that unit and reduce warranty claims. It saves their customer money on energy. Most people are selling a unit, but they are not conscious of helping the customer reduce their energy by protecting that unit from corrosion or heat gain. It offers a 40% plus profit margin. We've seen as high as 60%, depending upon the labor cost. It's a very low cost to become a dealer. It's not like a franchise where you're spending $250,000. We give full training and support. And within the common stead, we're very fortunate in that we have a dealer network that can service your customers. It is cost effective and a one-time solution. It's not like you're having to repeat this over and over. Once you do it, it's done. And we offer a 10-year warranty on all of our products. So if you're here and you are part of CommonStead or you're thinking about becoming involved, there are certain next steps that you should take. First of all, You want to become good at all the basics of the various different products that are offered in CommonsTED. And the nice thing about CommonsTED is we have a variety of products. You can pick and choose which ones you want to become more expert in. We have our playbook, which is at playbook.commonstead.com, where you can choose the product you want to know more about, and there's a complete playbook for you. We have the media, which is readily available. We have videos, all types of content regarding the various different products, all available already on the CommonsTED. I plug into our community. We have so much going on. Literally every day, there's something which is going on between trainings and the town hall that we just did on Wednesday, where we launch all the new products and talk about new things. There's always something going on that you can plug into. We have the CommonsTED Launchpad, which Ashley has been responsible for to get you started in the business. We have the residential business development because we're now putting a big push on the residential side. The residential side is quick and easy. Commercial takes a little longer. Obviously, the payoff in commercial is much greater, but on residential, you can start making money very, very, very quickly. We have help with prospecting 101 with Carlos. Every day there's training depending upon the product that you want to find out more about. Appointment setting, we teach you how to set an appointment, how to go, how to meet the customer, and how to close a deal. We talk about recruiting. We have a special class with Mike Brady on how to recruit, how to get people involved in the business. Then, as I said, the town hall every second Wednesday, we have all the major announcements. Very exciting what we did here Wednesday past. Every second Wednesday, we have this town hall to make new announcements. Mindset coaching, obviously, if you're in business, it's very important that you have the right attitude towards what you're doing. We have the mindset coaching with Evangeline. Social media training with Ashley. Again, social media is very important if you want to generate leads. We have everything you need in terms of social media. So that's basically it. Here at CoatZone, we're here to support you. We love to help people become successful. We know in the world of HVAC out there, HVAC normally represents about 60% of energy consumption within any commercial building. Even in homes now, that's what you're looking at. So to be able to help someone protect their asset using our CoilSafe, lower their energy bill at the same time with CoilSafe and potentially with ThermoBlock, and ensure that their energy bill is going to drop. These products are the perfect solution. So thank you for learning more about CoatZone and our products, and especially about the CommonsTED and what we can offer you. If you're looking for an opportunity to make money, there is no better way than becoming part of the CommonsTED. So at this point, if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Yeah, hey Stuart, this is Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. I was
Couple
recording
questions.
this, Carlos, so we have a good recording for people to listen to in the future.
Yeah, and I was on the last one you did, and I know you can jump into the resources or media and kind of rewatch it. Or the actually the learning center in the community, so
Yeah.
I know how to access everything. The question I had for you, like they put together some bundles that had the coat zone and what I believe what is it, the coil safe, and that's the spray
Coil
on the
safe
coil
and thermal block.
for
Yep.
residential and the
Hmm.
thermal block.
Yes.
Someone's got a brand new home and they're saying, why would I need the thermal block? It's brand new. And we're doing all the other stuff. Now, my response would basically be because the sun is still going to heat up your AC unit on the outside, and this will help keep it cooler. And plus, it's got what, the antifungal built into it, anti corrosion.
Yes. I mean, normally on a residential, your application in terms of the air conditioning, if it's a split unit, which most of the homes are, the coil safe would be more the product that we would be looking at to protect that coil. Because I don't care where you are, eventually corrosion is going to erode that coil. And once you destroy the coil of an air conditioning unit, you almost need to replace the unit. So protecting that asset and not only protecting it from corrosion, but ensuring that its efficiency will remain intact. What happens with any unit over time with fouling, with vibration, with corrosion, the efficiency of that unit will drop. But with our coil safe product, you're protecting that coil. You're ensuring that the efficiency of the unit is going to remain intact. And also in terms of maintaining the unit, whenever someone is maintaining that unit, it's much easier to clean the coil whenever we treat it with the coil safe product because it has a glass-like finish, so the dirt will not stick to it, and all you need is water to clean the coil. So in terms of
Yeah.
extending the life of the unit and ensuring its efficiency remains intact, you want to use the coil safe product.
Yeah, and that part I understood, but I was kind of confused as to why they would bundle that with a thermal block on a residential. I thought the thermal block would be more towards a commercial access
It is more towards the commercial.
applications.
Yeah, it is, but
Okay.
sometimes residentially as well, if you have, if you have units that are sitting outside that are heavily exposed to solar gain, it would make sense to put the thermal block
Put it
on
on.
on the cabinet of that unit, the exterior.
Okay. But technically, if it's on the north side, definitely if it's sitting up on the roof. I know Arizona, they got still have swamp coolers and stuff in
Yeah,
Arizona.
yeah,
And those are they're always it doesn't matter where you set something in Arizona, it's exposed to the sun.
correct.
Um, I lived there for 25 years. And then the other question I have, if somebody wants to become a dealer, what is that cost for them to get involved, to become a dealer for you guys?
Well, if we go back here, we'll go back to the slides here on,
And that might have been something I missed, so I
yeah,
apologize.
no, you're okay. So if we look at the coil safe, for example, that authorized dealer, where you have your own customers, and we have many dealers like that, you're looking at roughly purchasing 10 of the coil safe products. So you're looking at about $2,375 to become an authorized. Or if you want to be a preferred dealer, which means you're not only servicing your own customer, but you're then available to do applications for any affiliate that would introduce a customer, you're looking at
Mhm.
50 units, 50 of these, 9,500. So it's very inexpensive for someone to become involved as a dealer as far as the coil safe is concerned. Coil safe plus uh, is roughly the same, just slightly more cost for the coil safe plus. For the thermal block, you're looking at basically 4,375. So you're looking at roughly 5 buckets of thermal block. And for preferred, you're looking at 35 buckets. So you're looking at 24,500.
So
And
when someone signs up to be an affiliate partner, an authorized under me, for example,
yeah,
they would be buying it at the unit price, not the I'm hard it's can't see on the bottom, not the revenue potential. They're looking at their actual purchase price as a unit price.
if someone's coming in as an affiliate under you, yes, they're
Okay,
buying, and
now
then you're making your 6% on anything that they purchase.
so it would be off the unit price that we get the 6% on.
Correct.
Okay, and that's what I wasn't too clear about. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So now it's pretty simple. Because
Yep.
I've been talking to HVAC companies and stuff because kind of with the combination of EcoStella and your products now, if someone's using your coil safe, they got to get the gun to spray it on correctly, if I
Correct.
remember Okay, I
Yeah.
missed that part of your presentation, but I remember from the last time.
Mhm.
And they buy that, I'm assuming they buy those guns from you because it's a special
Yes.
gun,
Yep.
special applicator.
And once they
Okay.
have that, I mean, that'll last for years. We still have original units we bought, what, 17 years ago that we're still utilizing. So as long as they clean them, there's no issue with that. But again,
Right.
if you then bring on a dealer and then you're bringing a project to a dealer, then you're really making money because you're not only making your 6%, but you're making your retail on that as well, where you're
Mhm.
bringing in the deal. So you're not only making money on the purchase of the product, but on the actual contract itself.
Now, as far as becoming a pro on this, um, how quickly does that happen? Obviously, a big commercial job. I'm not gonna bid, even attempt to bid that out. If it's something big, I'm just gonna tag you. And
Yeah,
but if it's like a small mom and pop commercial business or, residential home,
yeah.
those really aren't that hard.
No, they're not that difficult. Again, you want to do a few, get a few under your belt, and then at that point, if you feel comfortable, once you've learned all the ins and outs of it, then you could look to become a pro.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really getting comfortable with the product, which I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable with it, but it's just figuring out some of the terminology really.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
exactly.
I've I've been owned cellular stores, been in the solar industry for 12 years. You know, it's the same process, just a different product.
Yeah. And just touching
Um,
on this on the solar industry, here in the Philippines, which is where I am right now, we're putting thermal block down on roofs. Here, mostly they're metal roofs or they're
mhm.
cement roofs. But we're putting thermal block down first before we're putting on the solar to make sure there's no heat bouncing back up onto those solar panels. Because as you know, solar panels like
The
light,
hotter they
not
get
heat.
underneath.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the hotter they get, the less efficient they are.
correct. And especially if they're bifacial, which is what they're using mostly here, then you're getting light bouncing back, but no heat bouncing back.
Okay, that pretty much answers all my questions.
Perfect. Well, I'm
Because
going to
I am
go
getting
ahead.
some bills from like five different restaurants. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get pictures of everything so we can kind of figure everything out, what's the best solution for them, and then kind of go from there. I mean, the obvious ones are the optimizers and the aquaflow. Um,
Yeah.
but taking a look at those AC units because we're in Florida, it's salt water, and these restaurants they're down at the beach.
Yeah, and those restaurants are going to be all likely package units. And whenever you have a package unit, if you put on our coil safe and our thermal block, you're likely looking at close to a 15% energy savings and extending the life of that unit dramatically. It's crazy to put a unit in somewhere like Florida and not have the corrosion protection.
Yeah. Now, when you combine that with, like, let's say they did the coil safe and the thermal block, and then put an optimizer on there. What percentages are we typically looking at? Because it's not going to be 30. Isn't it going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 25?
Oh, no, you could easily be 30. Here in the Philippines, we're just experimenting with that right now. We we're doing a job here right now with PLDT, the largest telecommunications company here. In fact, today my guys are out coating a 200-ton chiller, but we're also testing with the optimizer. And we think if you combine the two, you could be looking at well over 30% energy savings by reducing the energy consumption on the HVAC and then reducing the actual energy itself coming into the building with the optimizer. So it's a unbelievable one-two punch that you're looking at.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what that combination, that offset's going to be.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I mean,
Yeah, because
realistically,
that's
with the optimizer, you're normally looking at around on commercial
about
around that
20% roughly.
20%. Yeah. And then with this, we know we've done this so many times. Like the one I showed you there with the Johnson Controls in Saudi Arabia, that was 12.7% according to their testing on the energy consumption of that actual HVAC. Well, if you say roughly 15% and then 60% of your energy in that building is HVAC, you're looking at, roughly another 9-10% on top of your 20% with the optimizer. So you can definitely hit that 30% mark.
Okay, so that's a pretty safe estimate then.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming then if I were to tag you, if someone's interested in the coil safe and thermal block, I can tag you to do that along with the energy optimizers and Aquaflow. Are you able to do all three?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Or do I
I
have?
can, yeah, I'm happy to talk to people about all three. I mean, we're doing the optimizer here in the Philippines. No problem. Happy to do it.
Yeah, because you have that knowledge of and experience of what it's like using both of them. You have a little bit
Yep.
more than the rest of us. And
Yeah.
if I'm going to tag somebody, I'd rather have, and they're going to use that product, I'd rather make sure I'm have somebody that's got a little bit more experience with it initially,
Yeah.
and then down the
Absolutely.
road. I
Yeah.
just don't want to wake you up when you're out there in the middle of 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you're okay. You can tag me. I'll always get back to you as long as and you have my
Yeah,
email, Stuart at
yeah,
CoatZone.com. That's likely the best
yeah. I
way
already have
to
you.
get me. Yeah.
Already got you saved into my
Yeah.
contacts
So
from the last meeting.
feel free to do that.
All right, Stuart. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
No problem. I
I'll let you go
appreciate
so you can
you.
get some rest.
You got it. Yeah, it's almost 6 a.m. in the morning here, so appreciate it.
All right, we'll
Uh,
talk to you later.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye.